Okay, Pinky Mkwanazi from
My mom taught me to sell at a spaza shop. She ran a hair salon. I pretty much learned entrepreneurship from my mom's.
Ngumtu ngabantu. That on your own, you can't really do it. You need the support of those around you.
You will have a network of people, a network of communities, and a society that will make sure that you count.
Good evening and a hearty welcome from the Saita Straight Talk team. This evening really is an evening in history. We are so honored to have the exco of the Saita, the South African Informal Traders Alliance, on stage with us as panelists. It is the first time in the history of Saita and the history of Straight Talk that we are so honored to have our leadership with us. Our president has excused herself this evening. She's been exceptionally busy over the last 2 days, but you will see her again in future episodes of Saita Straight Talk. If you've seen our pamphlet this evening introducing what our topic is, then you would know that there's such a lot that goes on behind the scenes that we don't know of. The informal sector is arguably the biggest employer in the South African economy. It's a sector that is marginalized. It is a sector that is often overlooked. But the sector is driven by people with lots and lots of passion and drive in their hearts. And if you look at your screen, there is the Saita Exco. And I'm going to ask each one of them to please introduce themselves and tell us what is their portfolio, and also to tell us which province they come from. Can we start with you, Comrade Pinky?
Okay, Pinky Mkwanazi from
You just have to speak. You're just going to have to speak a little bit louder than normal so that we can hear you loud and clear, please.
Pinky Mkwanazi from Gauteng, Isaac.
Thank you. Thank you, Comrade Pinky. Comrade Msolo?
My name is Simpwe Msolo from KZN in Ubumbano Traders Alliance, is affiliating to Saita.
Thank you. Next in line is our lady from Gqeberha.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Suraya Ahmed. I'm the executive committee member for Saita from the Eastern Cape.
And then next to her is a man that looks like he's dressed for Cape Town.
A very good evening to everyone, and thank you for having us here this evening, Louise. My name is Tusi Jackals. I am the national organizer for Saita, and I come all the way from Kimberley in the Northern Cape. Thank you.
Thank you. The power man next to him, our comrade Benny. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, comrade. My name is Benny Siemela, a deputy chairperson of Mahama Kas Association, a deputy president of Saita. We are very, very much privileged to be part of this talk today, and I wish it will give us a strength for people to know what is Saita and what Saita stands for. I thank you.
Thank you. And last but certainly not least, the man who makes sure that communication is driven within the organization. Good evening, Comrade Michael.
Good evening, Louise. Good evening, everybody who is watching and listening to this program. My name is Michael Mokoja, the General Secretary of Saita, South African Informal Traders Alliance.
So it's really such an honor and a pleasure to have you all with us. So behind the scenes, a lot of work happens, a lot of work. I'm going to start off with you, Comrade Tusi, as the national organizer. Tell us, what does What does that mean for the informal sector? What does it mean if you are the national organizer?
Thank you, Luis. To be the national organizer, my sole responsibility is to organize the informal traders throughout the country, throughout all 9 provinces. So, mind you, as you will know the stats, we have more than 4 to 5 million informal traders. Although it is not properly recorded, it could be up to 10 million, if I'm not wrong. So the responsibility of the national organizer is to mobilize, of course, working with the head of membership of Saita to organize the sector. But I must say that, organizing the informal sector is not really child's play. It's not like organizing the formal sector. It's very, very, very difficult. But for the past 10 years, we've been organizing, we are getting there. So we are representing currently more than 2 million informal traders across the country.
Thank you, Tusi. Comrade Benny, as the deputy president of a massive movement that is Saita, share with us some of the challenges that nobody sees that we as Saita goes and try and solve for the informal sector.
Thank you, comrade. So when you talk about the informal sector, just the way the informal sector, it starts there to be a challenge because we want to come out from being informal to be formal. But the difficulty and the challenges that we face on daily basis, and beside daily basis, even the people that we work through, where we work with the municipality and all the challenges is bigger than anything because of like we are the people who deal with 9 provinces, and we have different challenges with the different municipalities in our 9 provinces. And we as Saita, we try our level best so that we must come to the table to deal with our municipality as one unity with them so that they can solve our problem as one, as Saita, as the national organization of the people, so that they must know that Saita is not only for a certain provinces, it's a national organization. That's why we have this organization, so that we mustn't have that problem that we used to have, that municipality will always, you will hear maybe in Durban there's a problem, and then when we compare our challenge in Durban and in Free State are not the same, and then the law, the bylaws, they are very challenging because of they are not the same. And the issue that we need to solve is the issue of we want a collective decision that municipality can take with us. If we can come to that agreement, that means we will be saying we have achieved something. But there is a lot of challenges, especially when we come to the markets and all these things. We can talk for the whole night. It's just that we need time to say all of this because of there are a lot of things that we can talk about. I thank you.
Thank you, Comrade Benny. Now I want to go to the economic hub of South Africa. In Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal over the last couple of months have had it particularly bad. We've come through historical moments over the last 4 months, where we have really seen, besides the impact that COVID has on us. Comrade Pinky in Gauteng, we know that most of the big businesses are there. If you want to run your business, people say to you, you need to go to the city of gold, Egoli. That's where you need to be. But tell us, what is the mood like with the informal traders in Gauteng? Is there hope, or has COVID and the subsequent looting really taken a lot of hope away from our traders?
Yes, we're trying after the looting, even though it's hard for us because many of shops are not opened, and then in that way we suffer um, for people to come because there is I mean the profit is down because of now
Yes.
there are no people coming from to the shop, so we gain to the from the people when they come to the shops. So now because of that looting, we are very suffering too much.
In,
Thank you.
in addition to that, comrade, because of we dealing with this issue as a national organization, the issue of Gauteng and Devon is a very challenging situation because of our people they are having a challenge of coming back because of they can't make any ends meet like before, and the situation is like when there is a problem of any looting or doing something, the first people who are getting the problem is our informal traders. And when the government started to focus on people who need to have support, they don't think of us. Because of like they think of us as people that who stands there that who doesn't have anything to do, but we are the people who are making a life because most of the people who lost their jobs, they are now becoming informal traders. We are welcoming more and more of millions the people who lost their jobs, but the government doesn't take us seriously as informal traders. When we need help, it's like as if like we are trying to make as if we are human beings because of we are being taken for granted for a long time. So for now, for the government to know that the challenge of each and every person outside there is being solved by the informal traders outside there. Thank you.
Thank you, Comrade Benny. If you've just tuned in to Saita Straight Talk this evening, I want to tell you that for the first time in history, and this is really Saita making history, a powerhouse of panelists. It is the Saita Exco representing all the provinces across South Africa. Comrade Msolo, I just want to stand with you also for a little bit and give me a sense of what does KwaZulu-Natal feel after the devastating effects of the looting earlier this year?
Okay, thanks, ma'am. Hey, that too was very hard for all our traders. Was very hard in Durban. But now, little bit, the other shop is opening because our traders, we can't get nothing if nobody working, nobody, and other people was losing a job, was working in the ShopRite or the other places was looting. But now, little bit is coming, little bit. The problem for us, we with no customers now, through the COVID is making a big problem, and they're making a hunger with us. We never get money. We work. Sometimes we going to work, then we coming back. Like someone we go to. Sometimes we go to one some job vacancy. Then we coming back. We never get nothing, but it's nothing when we can do because we can't do nothing. I've got no job. South Africa is a place now. I've got no job. Informal, everybody. If they lose a job, they're coming for this sector because now just they come to try what they want to try. And in Durban, and I forgot what's the date. One was about this thing in Daba Umbi in Bezo. We're selling like that. It says the Indaba is the Imbezo. Was the mayor from there was there. The mayor was there, Kaunda, and our traders was crying about that. Recovered. What is it? That
The relief fund.
relief fund. Relief fund was crying about that because the other one was getting, other one never get it. Then the mayor they say no, that money is finished now because was going to for one person 30,000 for one person. But now, if we ask the people, the traders was asking why never making 5,000 or 2,000 like that. Now the mayor say no, we are not asked to take decision. Is those where they coming from? They say they can for one each person can give this thing. You can give 30,000.
Thank you. Yeah. Sure.
Then after that, we're making what is that stream? The stream that is after that we're making the I think the stream lead or is
Yes,
like
yeah.
the stream lead for the traders.
Yes.
Those people that can stay for in economy.
Yes.
The chair for that leading team is a counter. Is a two counter from there. Counter is the first one is a mayor. The second one is got a seat is in the space for economy.
Yes.
Now that day was making the thing everything that people they wanted. Then we say for the mayor we want sweep him. The people they want to sweep the traders they want to sweep on the road himself because the people selling in the road they want to take that
space. That's
they want to take that space there to clean himself. Then they say no problem. Then after that we're making a campaign after those meetings.
Yeah,
make a campaign to cleaning the Durban. We're cleaning them. I think
it's a lot. There are a lot of things that needs to be. In fact, if we have like this kind of talk, we need more time. But for now, I think this is the direction that we can see that as informal traders, we have a challenge with the community.
And if I may add in there, Louise, you must remember that first of all, nobody just woke up and chose to become an informal trader. We were forced by circumstances. So by so doing, we are actually easing the burden from the government of unemployment. Now, but the government is not really taking us seriously. The government somehow has got good intentions, but the problem becomes the implementation of these programs, which must take place at local government level. So now, because of COVID-19 lockdown, and now the recent uprisings in Gauteng and KZN, more people have lost their jobs, and now their dependents also are joining the sector for survival. So the sector is now overburdened, whereby you find that now the piece of cake is becoming thinner and thinner and thinner because of competition, but we don't have any choice. We have to share, we have to survive. So now that is where our government needs to strengthen their intervention into assisting the informal sector. As Saita, we have programs in place as to how can government assist us. Thank you.
Thank you, Comrade Msolo. Thank you so much for painting that picture in terms of just how hard things are. I really appreciate it from both you and Comrade Pinky. Comrade Michael, I know you're burning to speak, but I just quickly want to make a stop in the Eastern Cape before we go to the Northwest. Comrade Suraya, give us a check on just how things are going in Port Elizabeth. We haven't heard a lot from Port Elizabeth since the name changed to Gqeberha. But what is the feeling there? We know that the Eastern Cape generally suffers economically quite a bit. Just give us a sense of what is the economy like and what is the mood like with our informal traders in the province?
Yes, thank you, Louise. As in all other provinces, COVID has had a major effect. And the mood is very down. It's getting to Christmas time. And where traders used to look to have a booming business during Christmas, there's nothing like that. Because where they had that passing trade, they have now lost it. So, there's not that where they are looking forward to it, where, amongst traders during the year, they are normally saving. They join these saving clubs so that at the end of the year, there is an extra income for them. There is nothing like that. So our traders are not looking forward to anything like that this year. As far as our working with our municipalities are going, we can say that that's going very well. Our municipality is one of those that is really working with us. We have now got a stakeholder forum. I think we are the first of the municipalities that has, that has now passed the stakeholder forum, where the informal sector has got a seat on that forum.
Wow.
We also have, we have now come to where, like I've mentioned before, it's the political will that would make you go forward in working with your municipality. It is the will of that person in that municipality. If he is prepared or she is prepared to work with you, that is how you are going to go forward. And fortunately, we in Port Elizabeth has got that. We have got that person. We have now got a graduate that is helping our LED manager, and I have got direct access to her. And if I'm not satisfied with her working with me, I can go directly to our LED manager. So in that way, we have accomplished a lot for our members.
Thank you, Comrade Soraya. Comrade Michael, we've now heard from the other panelists, and we're talking about hope, and we're talking about how hard things are. And then there's the one phrase that Comrade Soraya mentioned that keeps on popping up when we have our straight talk discussions, and that's the question around political will. And last week we had our municipal elections. We know that across the country, there's I think more than 60 municipalities that are hung municipalities. So different parties are smooching with each other now to see how they can form coalitions. But as the General Secretary, you obviously see a lot of the communication that goes out, and I'm sure you get very frustrated when you see that there's a lot of communication that comes from the top down that does not include the informal sector. Give us a snapshot of this, and then you tell me also, how does Saita position itself to speak on behalf of the informal sector? And how can an informal trader, whether you've been trading for years or whether through necessity and retrenchment, you now joining the informal sector, how can this person become a part of this movement called Saita?
Thank you, Comrade Louis. Firstly, let me start by saying previously or before the election, Saita is fighting hard with the municipalities. Remember what the minister or the president said about waiving the permit. Well, yes. The municipalities, most of the municipalities, they don't want to comply with what the president said. They don't want to waive those permits. Now, it's one of the battles that Saita is on it. Now, it's a question when there is the hung municipalities, it's a question of what's going to happen next. Are those whom they will agree with to form a coalition, are they going to think about the informal traders? Are they going to implement what the president said of waiving out the permit fees until 2022? It's a difficulty. Now, as Saita, we are just sitting, waiting to hear those coalition, who are they? And our aim as Saita and our strategy is that immediately after they have been sworn in as the councillors, as the mayors, then we are going to approach them politically, because we have the problem in the municipalities. You will find there is a fight between the politics and the administration, so they can't agree on one thing. Because once you go to the administration, he will tell you, no, I know nothing. Once you go to the politicians like a mayor, also it's a different story. But our aim as Saita is that we are not going to leave any stone unturned. We are going to make sure that the informal trader in South Africa is taken serious. It's not taken seriously. For example, yes, we want to transit from being from informal to formal. There is a R204 resolution that we thought by this time, when it's COVID, when especially from Gauteng and KZN, when there is a looting, when our people coming back, the government will come up with a strategy now. Let me assist you to transit from where you were to the better position now, so that those who are losing their jobs, they must also occupy the spaces. Because remember, we are fighting for the small spaces, especially to the metros. When you go to the metros, you will see it's overloaded with the informal traders. But because there is no choices, we have to trade so that we must feed our families. It's a lot of problems that we are facing. But Saita is going to make sure that we don't leave any stone unturned until we have been heard by the president. Thank you, Luis.
Thank you, Michael. Comrade Benny, when we talk about everybody, we need to be heard. We need to be heard. But we can't be heard if there's only 100 or 200 sharing the voice of Saita. What would you say to anybody that's in the informal sector, to all the different associations? I mean, because Comrade Michael has just made a very important point about the metros being overfull. And that is because traditionally, we all believe that if you move to a metro, the chances of making money is a lot better. But it's also in the metros where most of the unemployment sits. So what are we going to do to make sure that the economy is evenly spread, so that even if I'm in the smallest village, that I should be able to have a community of traders there that can support each other, and where the money is in the community so that we can build a community? What would you say to informal traders?
To informal traders, the answer is so simple. Unity is the key. Because of what government is doing, it gives us the problem based on the situation that we are not united enough, so that we must stand together and say enough is enough. Because of us informal traders, the challenges that we have is not the challenges that can be solved while we are not united. You must bear in mind, because of the decision that has been taken by always the government. Like, for instance, you look at the situation of the ministers that are working with us. If any minister can try to implement something with us, in the next 3-4 years, that minister is no longer there. And then that gives us a very much challenge, because of we have to start again from the ground to regroup and start to the new minister to explain the same explanation that we used to explain before. So the issue of us not uniting, and in fact, as informal traders, we need to go to all the informal traders, provincial provincial, ground level, and all that, so that you can unite more than before, because of that's the only way that our government can get. And the issue of the political will is a very challenging one, and especially when these organizations that are politically, they are there, we can never work with them, because of, if you can check even their manifestos, they don't include us in everything. They just come here and tell us, but in everything that they like, for instance, as you are talking about the issue of the collusion and everything, where are we going to be part of any organization there, because of they don't even mention us there. They all mention whatever that they see, and at the end of the day, we are the people who are always being affected by the decision that they take without us. That's why we always say nothing for us without us. Thank you.
Comrade Tusi, when we talk about national organizer and when we're talking about speaking in one voice and unity, that's where your portfolio becomes critical, because you need to organize and mobilize. And I know you, in your introduction, you spoke briefly about membership. So talk us through how being a member with Saita eases the burden on being the national organizer. Why is it important for people to organize themselves into this one body?
Exactly as Comrade Bene is saying, it is very important to organize, to speak in one voice, because if we are scattered, the powers that be don't take us seriously. So yes, it is important to organize, as I have alluded just recently, that organizing the informal sector it's a very difficult task to do, but we are getting there. We are getting there, and we are gaining momentum. And the more we are gaining momentum, the more easier it becomes, because now the traders can see the benefit of being organized and speaking in one voice. So by so doing, the government can listen us more effectively. However, Luis, when we go back again to government, national government, which we always sit around the table with and take resolutions, national government takes us seriously. The problem is the implementation of the resolutions that we take with government that needs to be implemented at local government level. For instance, recommendation 204 that speaks about transition from the informal to the formal economy. That is the document that was documented by the ILO and adopted by all member states, including the South African government, in 12 June 2015 in Geneva, Switzerland. We've been talking around the implementation strategy of R204 for the past 5 years. But the implementation, which again must take place at the local government level, is the challenge, because local government they don't seem to understand what the transition from the informal to the formal economy really entails, because that is where now local government needs to support the transition from the informal to the formal economy. Now, the problem, and I always say this, Luis, the problem with a discord between the national government and the local government is the lack of adherence to Section 41 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa that speaks about principles of cooperative governance and intergovernmental cooperations. If they can take Section 41 seriously, then things will be much easier. I thank you.
Thank you, Comrade Tusi. You make a very valid point, because from where I'm standing and hearing how municipalities almost have little regard for laws, we almost need to get to a point where we say that there are certain laws, regulations, recommendations that should not be open to interpretation. In other words, if you get it written like that, that is how you need to implement it. It doesn't matter who sits on that seat. When they read that sentence to say, the middle of the road that used to be painted with white stripes now needs to be red, the person shouldn't be able to say, no, but we think that possibly if we mix the red and the white, the paint is going to go further, so we can use pink instead. So that's really what you are saying to me. And what you're saying also are very, very, those are real issues that we're talking about. But it's not just about the transition of the informal to the formal sector that you as a team deal with. I mean, we hosting you in Cape Town over the next couple of days, and you had a very, very full day today. Today we were talking about climate justice, and I want to open the floor to any of you to respond and tell us what are the talks about climate justice and why does it have an impact on the informal sector? Comrade GS, do you want to respond, or Comrade Benny?
Thank you, Comrade. The issue of climate change is a very, very much important thing that we need to look at, especially us as informal traders. If we don't have rain, we suffer a lot because we can't make anything to grow like the tomatoes, and like in fact about the issue of fresh produce markets. And even if when there is a climate change, there is a lot of things that we don't achieve. In fact, we don't produce a lot of things because of it affects us, because of most of the things that we are using. It becomes more expensive because of the challenge is that you will find out, like, look at this early this year, the issue of tomato. It was very much expensive early this year because of the situation of the climate change, the mountain supply of the climate change. Thank you.
And potatoes at the moment are so expensive.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
So, yes, Comrade Tusi.
Thank you. Yes, Louise, climate change and global warming is a very, very serious issue. From where we are sitting, we're looking back 10 years ago, and we compare the weather patterns of 2001 and 2021. There's a total difference. Every year, it becomes more hotter, colder. The storms are coming, everything. And there's a lot of drought, like never before. Field fires, water scarcity, to the extent that now there's a threat, because there's a saying that the previous world wars was because of economies. Now the next world war will be fighting over water, and the water is eventually going to be privatized. But unfortunately, our government knows about these threats, and this is a threat for our children, our grandchildren, our great-great-grandchildren, whereas we are just sitting as if nothing is happening. Now, the powers that be, which is the government, they are better positioned to implement what we have submitted together with climate change, climate justice coalition last year. That is climate justice charter. Up to now, government have not responded, and we had to go to Parliament today to say to government, please take us seriously. We want climate justice now, not tomorrow, not over 20 years. We need it now. So government must stop, with all due respect, it must stop playing with words around climate justice. And we are advocating for the do away of fossil fuels and the coals that contaminate our atmosphere, that contaminates our sea, that contaminates our plants. And that is a threat to food security, availability of water, and so on.
And those strong words come from our national organizer of Saita. If you've just tuned in, you are watching Straight Talk. It's powered by the South African Informal Traders Alliance. And our very powerful panel this evening is the South African Informal Traders Alliance EXCO. The Executive Council members are here. Comrade Benny, I want to agree with you that our time is never enough to touch on everything that affects the informal sector. But there is one thing, because we slowly running out of time. But I do want to ask you, on Thursday, we are expecting the Minister of Finance to make his midterm budget speech. Now we've seen the petrol price going up quite considerably, to the point where when you say you're going to drive somewhere, it looks like your petrol needle already starts moving the other way. And that means food prices are going to go up. We know that Eskom is leaving us in the dark, literally. And all of this ultimately affects us. What would you want to hear in the midterm budget speech that has a direct effect and that's going to make life easier for the informal sector?
Into that, Shell, what we want to hear is the improvement of our people getting more support, especially us as informal traders. There is a budget that is there, but that budget that is being always allocated for us, we don't get to have it. In fact, we have challenges when we needed to have that support, because of you'll see that they will be saying that there is a budget of certain things that if informal traders need help out of that, then they will have an assistant of support out of that. But to us to go through all those things, because of why I'm saying this, most of our informal traders, some of them are not that much educated, and when you talk about support, you need to give clarity of what kind of support do they need, and what kind of support do you think they need, because they always tell us about the support, but when it comes to us to have that support, no one is there to assist us. As we said, there is a support for us. You'll go through a lot of things, especially you sometimes find that there is the funding that government will say you'll get an assistant, because the issue of COVID did affect us more than everyone. And there is saying there is support for you guys and all that. But when you have to get a hold of it, you'll go through almost all these offices. Then the only thing that we have is a challenge, because of the CEDA, the CFA and all those things. Honestly speaking, I just want to take this opportunity to tell you that for informal traders, it's a very, very big challenge. If the minister can put this thing on record that you said there is a support for us, but when it comes to us to have that support, it's a challenge and a big challenge. I think that one will be added by the GS for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Comrade Michael, do you want to add?
Yes, actually, what I want to add is that we are looking forward to the minister that firstly must just also think about the infrastructure for informal businesses. Because remember, especially those in Gauteng and KZN, they've lost their infrastructure, and it's difficult for them to get those infrastructure because they can't buy it from their own pocket, as they don't even have money to buy stock. They are struggling now. So now, if we can come up with a budget for the infrastructure for the informal trader, not for the formal businesses, because the formal business has been given a lot of money, nothing to the informal trader. That's point number one. Point number two is, as Comrade Benny mentioned, the red tapes from the funding that they have talked about. Remember, Louis, there is a funding that they call it TREP. From that funding, they are forcing the informal businesses to formalize their business before they get funding. And we have raised that issue in many times, that to force a person to formalize, not looking beyond the funding, what will happen with the businesses. It means that you are putting a rope into the neck to hang that person, because you can give me 20,000 and then you force me to formalize, to employ two, three people to register them also, of which is after a month or 2 months, I don't make that money because that support was limited for that time. It means at the end of the day, I'm back to square one. But the report that they will write to the minister is that we have helped so many people, their businesses are running, though their business is not running. What we want as Saita is to come up with a strategy on how we can go forward. We don't want you to give us money and then use the money, but we don't have the programs to see that the progress of that project is going forward.
Wonderful, thank you. I have to ask you for closing words now, because we have to say goodbye. I'm going to start with Comrade Suraya. Some final words from you?
I would say, if you are a small business, a micro business, and you want to improve yourselves, join Saita. Thank you.
Thank you. Comrade Msolo, some words from you?
Yes, Comrade Louise. Just gonna say that Saita is an engine from all traders. We support every traders to Saita, and Saita must be to work all together in safer and SEDA. Government is supposed to take Saita as a right NGO for all the traders, because Saita, they know down underground everything for the traders. Because now the government is giving someone the money like SEDA and SIFA. That people don't know about the traders. Even in Durban, SITA was there. But if you phone, sometimes they give you a number, you phone, you say the phone, nobody they're taking your call. Now his time is finished to work in the office, because now even our organization is finished that for the office. Everybody is there for the people. Everything they come in, all the leaders from there. Now that's why we say now, Saita, nothing us without us. We support to everything government take Saita up to provide all the provinces, because the Saita they know what the province, what's the problem that side, what's the problem on that side. They know everything, even the bylaws too. They know how come the bylaws, everything. Time is finished now to somebody can do your thing if we are here. And here in South Africa now is this sector is a sector for everyone here in South Africa, because we got no job, nothing. Everybody is coming in now. Government is supposed to give this sector dignity to support Saita. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for those words. Comrade Pinky, what are your final words to the sector and to our viewers this evening?
Okay, thank you, Louis. For me, the founders and municipality and government, before they do anything for us, they have to come to us and sit down with us to hear what we want, and then we sit down, all of us, and then we told them what we want. They don't have to take anything, then they just give us anything, because sometimes they don't know what we want as a traders. And then again, I can say to people outside, the traders outside, come and join Saita, because it's a very big organization that we want to help the traders out there. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. Our national organizer, Comrade Tusi, some final words from you.
Thank you. I must say, Louise, to the traders out there, Saita is the only official national structure advocating for the rights of the informal traders, advocating for also financial opportunity for the informal traders. So do not hesitate. Join any organization in your area, and that organization joins Saita, because Saita has so many benefits and Saita is gaining momentum. We don't want anybody to be left out. Now, to government, as we say, nothing about us without us. We are not being arrogant. We just advise government that if you do something about us without us, that thing is bound to fail. Come to us, let's talk, let us show you. We have the plan, we have the programs as to what must happen. What we are lacking is the finances. So as the comrades have said, that don't just throw the money. We need incubation, so that when person gets funding, that person must be monitored, must be trained, and it must be ongoing. There must be sustainability, so that that person must end up, now when we say from informal to the formal, that person must be really in a formal business, so that the others, when they come, they must also start there. But sustainability is very, very important, Louise. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Comrade Tusi. Comrade GS, your final words, please.
Comrade Louis, I like to encourage our informal traders that it's very important to fight as a solidarity. It's very important to make sure that from where you are, you met with other informal traders, so that you must work, you must talk as one voice. Secondly, I like to say Saita has got a lot of opportunities for the informal traders. Saita can assist you with anything from tax, if you want to register the business, anything that you may think of. It can also assist you if you maybe you want to fill up the forms for CIFA and SIDA, don't knowing that the difficulties. But if you have the problem, we can also assist you how to fill those forms. What is important is just that make sure that send email to info@saita.org.za, info@saita.org.za, and ask any question that you want to. If you want to be assisted with tax clearance, Saita's got an accountant that can do that for you. Just come to Saita, because we want to see us being somewhere. We don't want, it's not that time of working from hand to mouth. We want it to be a history. We want you to know that from your business, you must get the salary from your business. The money that you are making, even if it's 10 rand, it's not your money, it's the business money. That's what we want. So that's why we are encouraging people, come to Saita. We also have the benefits. You know, Louis, there is one thing that is painful, that when you see one of the informal trader passed away, then we need to run around asking donations. We say, donate, donate, donate. No, that thing, it's a matter of history. From the Saita, we also have the benefit that where we can have an insurance, a burials, funeral insurance, where at least if you passed away, then we know you are covered. You are no longer going to run with papers requesting a donation. That's how big is Saita now. Come, join Saita through your organizations. If you have organization, or if you don't have organization where you are, we can also assist you to have the organization, to have the local organization, to have the provincial organization, so that you must be within the sector. I thank you.
Thank you, Comrade Michael. Comrade Benny, our Deputy President of Saita, the final word is yours, sir.
Thank you very much, Comrade. Let me take this time and opportunity to thank all the informal traders in South Africa. And I want to say to all of them that for you to be an informal trader is not a curse, especially that Saita is part of you. For you to wake up in the morning and make a living, an honest living, that doesn't hurt anyone just to survive in life. It's not a curse. It's a must, that because of government must take a look at us, where we come from and where we are going, because of even the government is not as united as we are as informal traders. Even now, the only thing that I can tell each and every person as an informal trader, you must be proud of yourself, because of even wherever that we find ourselves now as Saita, we can see that there is a drive and we have achieved a lot. Even if you have a challenge of anything, even a person as an individual, if you want to be a member of Saita, you are very much welcomed, because of you can be as an individual that even you don't have an organization, but in Saita you can just be a member, and in you being a member, you will benefit a lot. This is a people's organization. This is a very much needed organization in South Africa for informal traders. For all of you people who don't know Saita, you better know Saita today. Why can't you know Saita? Because of your life, it will never mean anything before you become a member of Saita, South African Informal Traders. Viva Saita, viva.
Viva!
Viva Saita. Thank you so much. A powerhouse of panelists this evening on Saita Straight Talk. If you're watching this, please make sure that you share this video and make sure that you tell the people that are watching that they are watching history in the making. Look at the 6 people sitting on your screen this evening. They are breaking new frontiers. This is the South Africa that we're dreaming of, the South Africa where the economy works for all of us. You can be part of that if you align yourself with Saita, the South African Informal Traders Alliance. This brings us to the end of tonight's session of Saita Straight Talk. To each of the panelists, thank you so much for making yourself available and for sharing the critical input that we need. We support you and we salute you. Thank you. From me, Louise, till next time, good night.
Good night.